Dr. Amanda Blake stood motionless in the International Space Station's observation module, her reflection ghosting against the reinforced windows as Earth turned slowly below. The holographic message from Prince Zaxthor flickered in the space before her, its alien script casting an eerie blue glow across her features. Behind her, the rest of the station's senior staff watched in stunned silence. Primitive species should know their place. The Centaurian royal's translated words rang through the module. His elongated features twisted into what humans had learned to recognize as a sneer. Your application for Galactic Council membership is denied. Earth's resources will be better managed under proper supervision. Amanda's fingers tightened around the quantum tablet in her hands until her knuckles went white. 3 years of her life's work, breakthrough research into quantum entanglement fields, had been included in Earth's application package. The prince had dismissed it as quaint theoretics barely worth undergraduate study. They think we're still playing with rockets and radio waves, Commander Jack Reynolds muttered beside her, his weathered face reflecting decades of military service. Should we inform the Security Council about the QED array? Amanda shook her head, copper hair catching the starlight. Not yet. Let them think we're harmless. She pulled up a secure holographic display, checking the status of her hidden facility beneath the lunar South Pole. Green lights blinked steadily across the board. The quantum defense grid she developed was operational and undetected. The prince's message continued, his arrogance growing with each word. Your species still believes nuclear fusion is the pinnacle of energy production. Your primitive shielding technology can barely deflect solar radiation. Your fastest ships would take years to reach your own system's edge. A slight smile tugged at Amanda's lips. The Centaurians had no idea that humans had already reverse-engineered the crashed scout ship found on Mars. More importantly, they didn't know that instead of simply copying the alien technology, Earth's scientists had done something unprecedented. They'd improved it. Dr. Blake, the station's AI chimed in. Quantum signatures detected at the edge of the solar system. Centaurian vessels entering the heliopause. How many? Commander Reynolds demanded, already reaching for his secure comlink. 37 warships, Commander. Standard Imperial Invasion Fleet configuration. Amanda's tablet chirped with an incoming message from her research team. The QED array had already mapped the quantum signatures of each vessel, probing their weaknesses. Years of studying alien technology had taught humanity one crucial lesson. The Centaurians' rigid adherence to tradition made them predictable. They're not even trying to hide their approach, Reynolds observed, his tactical training evident in his tone. They really do think we're helpless. Pride comes before the fall, Amanda quoted, pulling up another secure channel. Authorization Blake 7 Delta. Begin Phase 1. Across the solar system, hidden facilities sprang to life. In the asteroid belt, seemingly abandoned mining stations revealed their true nature as weapon platforms. Beneath the ice of Europa, massive energy collectors powered up. On Mars, colonies that appeared primitive from orbit activated their quantum shielding. The prince's last communication contained their fleet's quantum frequency, Amanda noted, sending the data to Earth's Defense Council. They don't even bother encrypting it anymore. No one's challenged them in centuries. Commander Reynolds allowed himself a grim smile. Time to remind them why humanity survived all its own wars. He paused, studying the tactical display. You know they'll go for the moon first. Your facility is exactly where I want them to look. Amanda finished. While they're focused on the obvious target, they won't notice what we've done to Jupiter's magnetic field, or the weapon platforms we've hidden in Venus's atmosphere. Let them think they've found our secret weapon. The prince's message reached its conclusion, his final words dripping with condensation. Consider this a mercy. Your species will be preserved in our xenological gardens, safe from your own primitive mistakes. Amanda closed the holographic display with a sharp gesture. Primitive is as primitive does, Your Highness. She turned to face the Earth, its blue expanse peaceful below. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's what we do with it. And you're about to learn it the hard way. Colonel James Steele Robertson slouched in his captain's chair aboard the mining vessel Prospector 7, maintaining the casual posture expected of a civilian contractor. His weathered hands, calloused from years of special forces training rather than mining work, tapped an irregular pattern on his armrest. To any observer, it looked like simple fidgeting. In reality, it was a coded message being transmitted through quantum channels to the other mining ships scattered throughout the Mars orbital zone. Centaurian warships entering visual range. Captain, his communications officer, Lisa Martinez, announced with the slightly bored tone they'd practiced for months. They're broadcasting standard identification requests. James stretched, affecting mild annoyance. Send them our mining permits and registration. Again, he turned to the viewport, watching as the massive alien vessels emerged from the ruddy haze of Mars' atmosphere. Their sleek, crystalline hulls caught the sunlight, refracting it into prismatic displays that would have been beautiful if they weren't so deadly. Sir, Lisa's voice dropped to a whisper. The Heritage's quantum sensors are picking up active weapon scans. They're not buying our cover. A thin smile crossed James's face. They're not supposed to, Lieutenant. Not completely. He opened a secure channel to the ship's engineering section. Mr. Thompson, how's our little surprise package coming along? Chief Engineer Kevin Thompson's voice crackled back, thick with barely contained excitement. Ready to show these arrogant bastards what primitive Earth mining tech can do, sir. Particle stream is aligned, and the hybrid core is purring like a kitten. The largest Centaurian vessel, its hull decorated with the royal insignia, moved into position above their small fleet. As predicted, Prince Zaxthor couldn't resist the opportunity to personally subjugate the primitive humans. Attention Earth vessels, the translated communication boomed across their bridge. Your presence in this sector is no longer authorized. Prepare for inspection and resource assessment. James signaled Lisa to open a channel. This is Captain Robertson of the Prospector 7. We're conducting licensed operations under Earth maritime law and the Outer Space Treaty. We have active drills in progress and cannot safely shut down our equipment at this time. The response was immediate and predictable. Your primitive treaties are no longer valid. Shut down your mining equipment or face immediate disciplinary action. Now they're charging weapons, Lisa reported, maintaining her act even as her fingers danced across the quantum interface. Detection arrays are having trouble with their targeting systems, just like we hoped. James sat up straighter, his casual demeanor falling away like a shed skin. Battle stations. Quiet and clean. People. Let's show them why you don't judge a book by its cover. Throughout the mining fleet, hidden weapon ports slid open with barely a whisper. What the Centaurians had dismissed as primitive mining lasers were actually hybrid weapons, combining Earth's advanced particle physics with elements of recovered alien technology. Each drill head housed a quantum-enhanced particle accelerator, capable of punching through the supposedly impenetrable Centaurian shields. Sir, Lisa's voice held a note of triumph. The Prince's flagship is moving into optimal position. They're completely focused on our mining lasers, haven't even noticed the graviton emitters. Typical, James muttered. They never look for a weapon they don't already know about. He opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships, execute Protocol Trojan. I say again, execute Protocol Trojan. The response was instantaneous. Dozen of mining drones, detached from the Earth ships, their simple metal frames concealing cutting-edge quantum weaponry. The Centaurian sensors, programmed to detect known weapon signatures, registered them as nothing more than debris. They're powering up their main weapons, Lisa reported, preparing to make an example of us. James allowed himself a predatory grin. Transmit the activation code. Let's show Prince Zaxthor why humans don't put all their eggs in one basket. As the alien flagship's weapon ports began to glow with gathering energy, the trap was sprung. Every mining laser and drone powered up simultaneously, their hybrid weapons sensing through quantum entanglement. The Centaurians were about to learn that humanity's greatest deception wasn't pretending to be weak. It was showing just enough strength to be underestimated. Lieutenant Emily Hayes let her fingers dance across the neural interface of her obsolete shuttle, the Swift Runner. Through the cockpit's reinforced viewport, Saturn's largest moon, Titan, loomed ahead, its thick orange atmosphere concealing humanity's biggest technological gamble. Behind her, 3 Centaurian pursuit cruisers closed the gap, their superior engines eating up the distance. Status update on the pursuit craft, she subvocalized to her ship's eye. Cruisers maintaining attack formation. The AI responded through her neural link. Their weapons are charged but inactive. They appear to be toying with us, Lieutenant. Emily allowed herself a small smile. Of course they are. Can't resist playing with their food. She pushed the shuttle into a wobbling spiral, making it appear that she was struggling with the controls. How's Major Thompson's sensor array looking? Crystalline structures maintaining optimal temperature at -179 Celsius. Quantum entanglement field is stable and undetected. The lead Centaurian cruiser fired a warning shot, the energy beam deliberately missing her port side by meters. Their translated message followed. Surrender your vessel. Primitive. Prince Saxthor may show mercy if you accept your natural place in the hierarchy. Emily keyed her calm, letting fear creep into her voice. This is a civilian research vessel. We're conducting atmospheric studies of Titan. Please, we're not a threat to anyone. The response was predictably arrogant. Your primitive attempts at scientific understanding are no longer required. The Empire will properly study this moon with superior methods. Approaching optimal position, her AI reported. Crystalline array tracking all 3 vessels. Emily's practice spiral brought her shuttle closer to Titan's upper atmosphere, where Major Michael Thompson's team had spent the last 5 years building something impossible. What looked like natural ice formations across Titan's surface were actually precisely engineered crystalline structures, designed to manipulate gravity itself. They're moving to surround us, the AI warned. Standard Centaurian capture formation. Time to remind them why humans bother studying primitive things like orbital mechanics, Emily muttered. She opened a secure quantum channel. Control, this is Hayes, executing Operation Avalanche. Beneath the shuttle, across Titan's dark surface, thousands of crystalline formations simultaneously shifted their molecular structure. The change was microscopic, but the effect was anything but. Gravity waves rippled outward, invisible but devastating. The first Centaurian cruiser didn't even have time to react. One moment it was smoothly pursuing its prey. The next, it was caught in a gravitational shear that twisted space itself. Their supposedly superior hull design, unchanged for centuries, crumpled under forces it was never designed to resist. By the Emperor, the panicked transmission cut through all frequencies. What kind of primitive devilry? Emily yanked her shuttle into a tight arc, utilizing maneuvers developed by Earth's finest pilots over centuries of atmospheric and spaceflight. The crystalline array tracked her movement perfectly, creating a corridor of stable space through the chaos. The second cruiser tried to retreat, but multiple gravity waves caught it in a crossfire. Its shield generators overloaded as they tried to compensate for forces they couldn't understand. The third vessel managed to fire once, its energy beam distorted by the gravitational distortions until it missed by kilometers. Control, this is Hayes, she reported calmly. Operation Avalanche is a success. 3 enemy vessels neutralized. She paused, checking her sensors. And it looks like we've gained some attention from the main fleet. Major Thompson's voice crackled through her quantum comm. Outstanding work, Lieutenant. Our gravity web just proved what we've known all along. Sometimes the best way forward is to master the basics before reaching for the stars. Emily watched as the distant forms of more Centaurian warships appeared against Saturn's rings. They would come in force now, but that was part of the plan. Every ship they sent to Titan was one less ship threatening Earth. Time for Phase 2, she announced, bringing her shuttle around for another pass. Let's show them what else we've learned from studying something as primitive as planetary physics. The crystalline formations across Titan's surface began to pulse with new patterns, preparing to demonstrate yet another way humanity had transformed their understanding of natural forces into something the Centaurians never imagined possible. Admiral Jessica Warner stood at the helm of the U.S. Nautilus, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the Atlantic Ocean's depths. Above the waves, her scattered and retreating surface fleet played its part perfectly, looking every bit like a primitive naval force overwhelmed by superior alien technology. The Centaurian vessels hovering above the ocean's surface had no idea they were being drawn into a trap centuries in the making. "Status of the carrier groups?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tension filling the command center. Captain Robert Drake consulted his quantum display. "All submarines maintaining position, Admiral. Depth shields are masking their energy signatures. The Centaurians still think they're just detecting marine life." A smile tugged at Jessica's lips. "Centuries of submarine warfare experience, and they think we'd forget those lessons in space. Time to teach them why humans never ignore their history." The holographic display updated as more Centaurian ships moved into position above them. Prince Zaxthor's strategists had deployed their fleet in a standard orbital bombardment formation, preparing to destroy Earth's naval capabilities. "They're charging weapon systems," Robert reported. "Still no indication they've detected our true positions." Jessica opened a secure quantum channel to her hidden fleet. "All carriers, prepare for Operation Depth Charge. Launch coordinates are locked. Remember your training, just like we practiced." Throughout the Atlantic's depths, massive submarine carriers silently opened their launch bays. What the Centaurians had dismissed as primitive underwater vessels were actually launching platforms for humanity's most advanced space fighters. Each submarine carried dozens of fighters equipped with hybrid propulsion systems that could transition from underwater to atmospheric to spaceflight in seconds. "Enemy flagship is moving into optimal position," Robert announced. "They're preparing to address us, Admiral." Right on cue, Prince Zaxthor's smug visage appeared on their main screen. "Attention primitive naval forces. Your obsolete ocean-bound vessels are no match for the Empire's might. Surrender now and—" Jessica cut the transmission with a sharp gesture. "Launch all fighters. Show them why humanity never stopped building submarines." The ocean's surface erupted. Hundreds of fighters burst from the waves, their quantum shields shedding water as they transitioned seamlessly to flight mode. The Centaurian fleet, positioned for a downward bombardment, suddenly found themselves facing an attack from below. First wave impact in 3, 2, 1. The human fighters struck before the alien ships could reposition their shields. Quantum-tipped torpedoes, designed to function in both water and space, slammed into the vulnerable undersides of the Centaurian vessels. The aliens had never considered defending against an upward attack. Space combat had always been about superiority from above. "Multiple direct hits," Robert reported, excitement creeping into his professional tone. "Their shields are calibrated for horizontal and downward coverage. They're taking heavy damage." Jessica watched as her forces executed the strategy she'd spent years developing. The submarines weren't just launch platforms. They were also generating a complex web of quantum distortions that played havoc with Centaurian targeting systems. "Second wave, execute pattern Delta," she commanded. "Show them what happens when you combine submarine warfare doctrine with space combat." The fighters split into wolf-pack formations, another tactic borrowed from naval history. They struck from multiple angles, using the ocean's surface as cover between attacks. The Centaurian fleet, designed for the empty vastness of space, struggled to track targets that could dive beneath the waves and emerge anywhere. "Admiral," Robert's voice held a note of triumph, "the enemy fleet is breaking formation. They're trying to gain altitude to escape the attack vectors." "Perfect." Jessica opened a channel to her surface fleet. "All ships, execute Phase 2. Release the drones." What the Centaurians had assumed were primitive missile launchers on her surface ships suddenly launched swarms of autonomous drones. These machines, each barely larger than a human, carried scaled-down versions of the gravity weapons proven at Titan. "Let's see how they handle fighting in 3 dimensions," Jessica said, watching as her forces executed the most complex military maneuver in human history. Sometimes the old ways are best, especially when combined with something new. Ryan Cooper crouched in his makeshift command center beneath the Denver Tech Center, surrounded by walls of holographic displays showing the city's neural network. His team of civilian hackers worked frantically at their stations, their fingers dancing across neural interfaces as they transformed Denver's smart city infrastructure into a weapon. Their landing in Washington Park, Anna Martinez reported from her station, her augmented reality overlay showing troop movements in real time. 5 dropships, standard Imperial deployment pattern. Ryan nodded, his neural implant processing the tactical data. "Time to show them why you don't invade a city that's smarter than you are." Initialize Protocol Digital Thunder. Throughout Denver, seemingly innocent smart systems came alive with deadly purpose. Traffic lights shifted to trap alien ground forces in pre-planned killing zones. Automated maintenance drones, reprogrammed with military-grade attack algorithms, swarmed from their charging stations. "First contact in Sector 7, Tom Wilson called out. "They're trying to establish a command post in the museum complex." His lips curved in a predatory smile. "Big mistake. The museum's climate control system, designed to protect priceless artifacts, suddenly flooded the building with a carefully calculated mixture of gases. Nothing lethal. They needed prisoners for interrogation, but the Centaurian troops found their environmental suits struggling to compensate. They're attempting to access our network," Anna reported, her hands flying across her interface. "Standard Imperial cyber warfare protocols. God, they're primitive. They're still using linear encryption." Ryan allowed himself a brief grin. "Push the quantum defense package. Let's show them what happens when you try to hack a city that's been preparing for this for a decade." The Centaurian cyber attack crumbled against defenses built by generations of human hackers. Their military-grade systems, unchanged for centuries, had no answer for the chaotic, ever-evolving nature of Earth's digital warfare. "Second wave incoming," Tom announced. "They're targeting power stations. Wait, something's wrong. Their systems are glitching." "That would be the virus we uploaded during their first breach attempt," Ryan explained, watching the chaos unfold. "Every system they connect to becomes part of our network. They're literally hacking themselves for us." Downtown Denver's autonomous vehicle network suddenly activated. Self-driving cars and delivery vehicles, their safety protocols repurposed for warfare, created moving barricades and mobile ambush points. Construction drones, their tools replaced with improvised weapons, descended on alien positions. "Sir," Anna's voice rose with excitement. "The quantum mesh is online. Every smart device in the city is now part of our defense network." Ryan opened a secure channel to the Civilian Defense Force. "All units, execute Operation Urban Ghost. Remember your training. Let the city do the heavy lifting." Across Denver, civilians who had trained for years for this moment put their plans into action. Smart homes became death traps. Their automated systems turned against the invaders. Public transport terminals transformed into fortified bunkers. Even vending machines played their part, their simple processors repurposed to jam alien communications. "They're pulling back to their dropships," Tom reported. "Looks like. Wait, they're calling in heavy weapons platforms." Perfect. Ryan activated his neural link to the city's primary systems. "Initiate the quantum resonance cascade." The trap was sprung. Every digital device in Denver, from smartphones to traffic cameras, began broadcasting on frequencies designed to interfere with Centaurian shield technology. The alien weapons platforms, suddenly exposed, found themselves under attack from all sides. "Command, this is Cooper," Ryan transmitted to the military high command. "Denver's civilian defense network is fully operational. The city is officially a no-go zone for Imperial forces. As the Centaurian troops retreated in disarray, Ryan watched the tactical displays with satisfaction. Prince Zaxthor had made the oldest mistake in warfare, assuming that civilian infrastructure was a weakness rather than a strength. "Send word to the other tech hubs," he ordered. "It's time to wake up every smart city on Earth. Let's show these aliens why humans never stopped improving our technology, even the stuff they think is beneath their notice." Captain Thomas "Storm" Anderson yanked his F-77 Storm Chaser into a tight spiral, leading his squadron of atmospheric fighters straight toward the Centaurian flagship. Warning signals screamed through his neural interface as alien targeting systems locked onto his craft. Through his cockpit's quantum-enhanced viewport, he could see the massive crystalline vessel gleaming against Earth's atmosphere. "Storm Leader to all units," he transmitted through their secure quantum network. "Remember your training. They think we're just atmospheric fighters. Let's show them why humans never stopped mastering the weather." His squadron acknowledged with practiced calm. Each pilot had spent thousands of hours preparing for this moment, mastering techniques that the Centaurians had dismissed as impossible. "Enemy vessels launching interceptors," his co-pilot reported. "They're treating us as a minor annoyance, Captain." Standard response to atmospheric craft. Thomas allowed himself a grim smile. "Perfect. Activate the metamaterial shields. Time to show them what Earth weather can really do." The surfaces of their fighters shifted, quantum-engineered materials transforming to capture and channel atmospheric energy. What looked like suicide charges against superior alien technology was actually the culmination of decades of research into weather manipulation. "Storm Squad, execute Pattern Omega," Thomas commanded. "Let's give them a taste of Earth's hospitality." His fighters split into three-dimensional formation, their paths creating precise atmospheric disruptions. The Centaurians, focused on their targeting systems, failed to notice how the air itself was changing around them. "Energy readings are spiking," his AI warned. "They're preparing to fire their main weapons." Now, Thomas drove his fighter straight up, leading the squadron in a maneuver that would have been impossible in traditional aircraft. Their metamaterial hulls catalyzed the surrounding atmosphere, transforming ordinary air into a weaponized storm front. Lightning, guided by quantum fields, struck the Centaurian vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The aliens' energy shields, designed to deflect particle beams and plasma weapons, had no defense against nature enhanced by human ingenuity. "Direct hits confirmed," his second-in-command, Sarah Walker, reported with satisfaction. "Their shield harmonics are destabilizing. They never expected us to weaponize the atmosphere itself." The Centaurian fleet's response was predictable. They attempted to gain altitude, trying to escape what they saw as a planetary phenomenon. It was exactly what Thomas had planned for. "All units, initiate Phase 2, he ordered. "Show them why we studied fluid dynamics so carefully." His fighters pulled up in perfect synchronization, their engineered contrails creating precise patterns in the upper atmosphere. The turbulence wasn't random. It was a carefully orchestrated symphony of pressure waves and temperature differentials. "Storm Leader, enemy fleet is attempting to coordinate their shield grid," his AI reported. "They're trying to adapt to the atmospheric attacks." Thomas keyed his neural interface, linking directly with his squadron's tactical network. "Execute Operation Downburst. Let's see how they handle some real Earth weather." The fighters dove through layers of atmosphere, their metamaterial hulls collecting and concentrating energy. What looked like evasive maneuvers was actually the creation of a massive engineered weather system. The Centaurians, masters of space combat, but ignorant of planetary warfare, had no defense against an enemy that could turn the sky itself into a weapon. "Artificial supercell forming now," Sarah confirmed. "Quantum catalysts are stable. Storm front is under our control." Above Denver's airspace, clouds coalesced with impossible speed. Lightning arced between them, guided by quantum fields to strike with surgical precision. The Centaurian fleet found themselves caught in a storm that defied their understanding of planetary physics. "They're breaking formation," Thomas observed, watching the alien ships struggle against forces they'd never encountered. Time to show them why humanity never abandoned atmospheric combat training. His squadron reformed, their fighters moving through the engineered storm as if it were clear sky. Years of training in Earth's most extreme weather conditions had prepared them for this moment. While the Centaurians fought against the storm, Thomas's pilots used it as cover, their weapons finding gaps in the aliens' disrupted shields. "Storm Leader to Command," Thomas transmitted. "Operation Thunderstorm is a success. The aliens are learning why you don't underestimate a species that evolved on a world with real weather." Dr. Rebecca Martinez stood in the heart of the Quantum Command Center beneath NORAD, surrounded by crystalline processors that hummed with barely contained energy. The holographic displays around her showed every human military asset in the solar system, from Earth's atmospheric fighters to the hidden bases on Mars. Each point of light represented a node in the most sophisticated communication network ever created. "Ghost Protocol is ready for initialization," her chief engineer, Mark Sullivan, reported from his station. "All quantum nodes are synchronized and waiting for your command." Rebecca took a deep breath, her hand steady as she interfaced with the quantum core. "Begin final diagnostic sequence. Let's make sure our little surprise is perfect." The displays shifted, showing the Centaurian fleet's positions throughout the solar system. Prince Zaxthor had committed nearly half his empire's forces to this invasion, convinced that Earth would fall easily. His ships maintained rigid formations, following battle doctrines unchanged for centuries. "Multiple engagements ongoing," Mark announced. Colonel Robertson's forces at Mars, Lieutenant Hayes at Titan, Admiral Warner in the Atlantic, and Captain Anderson in the atmosphere, all reporting successful containment of enemy forces, and all fighting independently, as far as the Centaurians can tell, Rebecca added with a slight smile. "Time to show them what real coordination looks like. Initialize the Ghost Network." Throughout the solar system, quantum entanglement nodes activated simultaneously. What had appeared to be separate military actions suddenly became parts of a single, synchronized operation. Every human ship, weapon, and defense system became part of a unified whole. "Ghost Network online," Mark confirmed. "Quantum coherence at maximum. We have instantaneous communication across all theaters of operation." Rebecca opened a channel to all human forces. "This is Control. Ghost Protocol is now active. All units prepare for synchronized combat operations." The effect was immediate and devastating. Colonel Robertson's mining fleet at Mars executed a perfect pincer movement in concert with Lieutenant Hayes's forces near Titan. Admiral Warner's submarines launched fighters in patterns that complemented Captain Anderson's atmospheric maneuvers. Every human action was part of a single, massive battle plan. "The Centaurians are detecting the quantum signatures," Mark reported with satisfaction. "They're trying to jam our communications, using standard Imperial protocols, of course." Rebecca actually laughed. "They still think this is about radio waves and light-speed signals. Show them why we spent so much time studying quantum mechanics." The Ghost Network adapted instantly to the Centaurian jamming attempts. Each effort to disrupt human communications only added new data to the quantum field, making it stronger and more resilient. "Enemy fleet attempting to regroup," Mark announced. "They're falling back to their standard defensive formations." "Predictable as always," Rebecca muttered. "Execute pattern infinite. Let's show them what happens when you can coordinate across an entire solar system." The displays erupted with activity as human forces moved with impossible synchronization. Fighters from Mars and Titan executed pinpoint strikes, while Earth's atmospheric squadrons herded the alien ships into carefully prepared kill zones. Every human asset, from orbital platforms to ground-based weapons, became part of a single devastating dance of destruction. "Multiple enemy ships breaking formation," Mark reported, his voice tight with excitement. "Their command and control structure is collapsing. They can't adapt fast enough to our coordinated attacks." Rebecca watched as the prince's mighty armada began to fracture. The Centaurians, used to fighting enemies who were limited by light-speed communications, had no defense against an opponent who could coordinate actions across vast distances instantly. "Send word to all commands," she ordered. "Phase 2 of Ghost Protocol is now active. Show them why humanity spent so much time perfecting the art of working together." The quantum displays shifted again, revealing new layers of human preparation. What the Centaurians had thought was Earth's full military response had been only the first wave. Now, with the Ghost Network fully operational, humanity's true capabilities were about to be revealed. "Control to all units," Rebecca transmitted, her voice carrying across the quantum field. "The enemy thought we were primitive because we still studied basic physics. Let's show them why understanding the fundamentals matters." General David Walker stood before the massive strategic display in Cheyenne Mountain's Central Command, his weathered features illuminated by the holographic battle map spanning the solar system. Each point of light represented a piece in the most complex game of chess humanity had ever played. Through quantum feeds, he watched Prince Zaxthor's once mighty invasion force crumbling under the weight of their own arrogance. "Status report," he commanded, his voice carrying the authority of decades of military service. Colonel Sarah Mitchell, his tactical officer, responded instantly. "The Ghost Network is performing beyond expectations. Sir, Dr. Martinez's quantum coordination has the enemy completely outmaneuvered. They can't predict where we'll strike next because every human asset is moving as one." David nodded, watching as Colonel Robertson's mining fleet executed a perfect flanking maneuver in concert with Lieutenant Hayes's forces near Titan. "Have they figured out our strategy yet?" "No, sir," Sarah replied with a hint of satisfaction. "They're still treating each battle as a separate engagement. They haven't realized this entire conflict has been one continuous operation." The general allowed himself a small smile. "Show me the prince's flagship." The holographic display zoomed in on the massive Centaurian vessel, now retreating from Earth's atmosphere after Captain Anderson's weather warfare demonstration. Its crystalline hull showed damage from multiple human weapon systems, hybrid mining lasers, gravity weapons, and quantum-guided lightning strikes. "Time to spring the final trap," David announced. "Signal all commands. Execute Operation Endgame." Throughout the solar system, human forces began moving in patterns that would have been familiar to any chess grandmaster. Each unit had its role, each movement calculated to force the enemy into precisely planned positions. "Sir," Sarah reported, "Admiral Warner's submarine carriers are surfacing in attack formation. Captain Anderson's squadrons are herding the enemy fleet right into their firing solutions." David watched as centuries of human military strategy, from ancient board games to modern space warfare, came together in a symphony of coordinated action. The Centaurians, masters of straight-line tactics, had no answer for an enemy that thought in 3 dimensions and planned in 4. "The prince is attempting to rally his forces," Sarah announced. "He's broadcasting on all frequencies." "Let's hear it," David ordered. "One last time." Prince Zaxthor's voice filled the command center, his previous arrogance replaced by barely contained fury. "This is impossible. You're nothing but primitives. How dare you?" David cut the transmission with a gesture. "Show him our response. All units, execute final gambit." The trap closed like a master chess player's endgame. Colonel Robertson's mining ships revealed their true nature as advanced warships. Lieutenant Hayes's forces emerged from Titan's atmosphere in perfect attack formation. Admiral Warner's submarines launched their final wave of fighters. Captain Anderson's weather control squadrons created a storm system that spanned the upper atmosphere. "Enemy fleet is completely surrounded," Sarah reported. "Their formations are breaking. The prince, he's ordering a full retreat." "Not this time," David said firmly. "Dr. Martinez, activate the quantum barrier." The Ghost Network's true purpose was finally revealed. What the Centaurians had dismissed as primitive communication attempts was actually humanity's greatest achievement. a quantum field that could reconfigure space itself. The alien fleet found their retreat cut off by forces they couldn't comprehend. "Signal from the Prince's flagship," Sarah announced. "They're requesting terms of surrender." David straightened his uniform. "Put him through. Let's teach him why humans study history so carefully." The holographic image of Prince Saxthor appeared, his alien features twisted with the realization of total defeat. Before he could speak, David raised his hand. "Your Highness," he said calmly, "let me explain what just happened. You didn't lose to superior technology. You lost to humanity's greatest strength, our ability to learn, adapt, and work together. Every battle you fought today was part of a strategy developed from thousands of years of human warfare, games, and scientific study." He gestured at the display showing the trapped Centaurian fleet. "This isn't just a military victory. It's a lesson in why no species should ever mistake technological advancement for true civilization. Now, shall we discuss the terms of Earth's membership in the Galactic Council?"